to our host, Honorable Albert Del Rosario, Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Under-Secretaries, Assistant Secretaries, and Department Heads of Department of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Elmar G. Cato, Executive Director of National Council for United Nations Peace Operations, Philippines, members of diplomatic communities, Excellency Ambassadors, peacekeepers themselves from Armed Forces and Philippine National Police. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Soe Nyunt-U. I am WHO Country Representative, and for today also I am acting for UN Resident Coordinator. Henri Guédé, a French author and winner of 1947 Nobel Prize in Literature, said, "It is easier to lead men to combat than to restrain them and direct them toward the patient labors of peace." Indeed, the task of peacekeeping is long and painstaking. It is also fraught with risks and dangers. In 2011, 112 of our UN peacekeepers died, devoting their lives to peace. In the first 4 months of this year, another 27 peacekeepers have died while serving the United Nations. Today, we honor the memory of the more than 2,900 peacekeepers who have lost their lives in the line of duty over the years. And we pledge to carry on their work to bring stability to war-ravaged countries. The International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers is an occasion to salute 120,000 peacekeepers serving in 17 missions in some of the world's most volatile and dangerous environments. The fallen peacekeepers came from many different troop-contributing countries, a poignant reminder of the global partnership that underpins United Nations peacekeeping. The recent violence in Syria and the resulting perils which now confront the UN Supervision Mission in Syria, or UNSMIS, aptly illustrate the conundrum in which UN peacekeepers throughout the world find themselves, a responsibility to protect others, which puts our peacekeepers in mortal danger, without the corresponding authority to engage those who would threaten their lives and safety. Just 2 days ago, following the violence in Syria last week 25, UN Secretary General issued a letter to the Security Council, which shows the difficulty that UN face in trying to defuse conflict. I quote, "United Nations observers are facing increasing criticism for not stopping the violence, and in some quarters are even being blamed for an increase of it. There is a misconception, difficult to correct, about the role of unarmed military observers and what they can and cannot do. This puts the United Nations presence on the ground in a perilous position." End of quote. Currently, 116 member states contribute military and police personnel to our operations. The impressive number reflects growing global confidence in the value of United Nations peacekeeping as a tool for collective security. Our new observer mission in Syria is the latest example that demonstrates how the international community looks to the United Nations for solutions to emerging challenges. The mission is facing difficult challenges but serves bravely to help keep the parties, starting with the government of Syria, to keep their commitments to cease the violence that has killed thousands of people. It is part of the larger UN efforts led by Special Envoy to end the violence and seek a political solution to the Syrian crisis. The ultimate goal of any UN peacekeeping mission is to no longer be necessary for their presence. Until we reach that objective, we make every effort for peacekeeping to be as effective and efficient as possible. In his message on the International Day of UN Peacekeepers, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon expressed his deep gratitude for every contribution of troops and police, as well as for the financial and material resources that makes peacekeeping possible. He thanks all countries that provide political support and leadership. I've been talking to Honorable Secretary. Philippine has one of the longest tradition of helping UN peacekeeping. It's go over more than 4 decades. He cites the increasing important role of regional organizations. Secretary General mentioned that the African Union and the United Nations, for example, are working closely together in Darfur and Somalia, while jointly addressing the threat posed by the rebels, or persistent army. These partnerships give peacekeeping the flexibility it needs to address today's wide-ranging challenges to international peace and security. For more than 60 years, UN Blue Helmets have helped to foster a sense of security for people in places torn apart by war. The continued deployment of UN peacekeepers symbolizes the UN's commitment to restoring a sense of order, security, and normalcy in conflict-affected areas so that the survivors of war would feel safe enough to rebuild their lives. The theme of this year's International Day of UN Peacekeeper is Peacekeeping as a Global Partnership. As we all know, peacekeeping is also a very expensive operation. UN peacekeeping draws together the legal and political authority of the Security Council, the personnel and financial contributions of member states, the support of host countries, and the accumulated experience of the Secretariat in managing operations in the field. It is this partnership that gives UN peacekeeping its legitimacy, sustainable, and global reach. Increasingly, our work is made possible by the strategic partnership with other UN entities and regional organizations in creating a common vision, capacity building, and cost sharing. We have a variety of partners at every stage of our work. Partnerships with the member states of the United Nations are at the core of every area of our work. Members of the Security Council lead and strengthen our work by establishing mandates and amending our deployments to respond to emerging developments on the ground. Troops and police as well as equipment are generously provided by member states, like Philippines. The General Assembly is responsible for decisions relating to the financing of our operation. Creative partnerships with international and regional organizations is becoming a regular feature in UN peacekeeping. Some recent examples include the UN working with African Union in Darfur, as I have mentioned, alongside the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in Kosovo, Afghanistan, as well as succeeding European Union military operation in Chad and handing over policing operations to the EU in Kosovo. We work closely with UN funds, agencies, and programs through the integration of humanitarian and traditional peacekeeping work in our peace operations. A multi-dimensional integrated UN peacekeeping operation is more effective when it is deployed as part of a UN system-wide response based on a clear and shared understanding of priorities, notwithstanding our success in building partnerships for peace. The work of peace building continues. It has been 64 years since the first UN peacekeeping mission was established. Yet a durable peace remains a dream in many parts of the world. Peace has no finishing line, no final deadline, no fixed definition of achievement. Peace is a never-ending process, the product of many decisions and decision makers. Our peacekeepers are an indispensable part of this ongoing process of building and keeping the peace. Let us never forget the heroic sacrifice that these men and women have made and continue to make for the cause of peace. Long live the peacemakers and peacekeepers. Thank you and very good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Nyunt-U, for your heartfelt message.